I'm a counselor in business development at la Direction de l'accès à la profession at l'Ordre des Ingénieurs du Québec. This afternoon, I will talk about the professional admission program. So the presentation outline this afternoon, what are the reasons why we should become an engineer? I will present you the OIQ mission and the Engineers Act. And finally, I will go through the process, how to obtain an engineer permit. And I will go through also the admission program for those of you who have a bachelor degree in engineering obtained outside Canada. So I'm myself a chemical engineer, and I'm working with l'Ordre des Ingénieurs du Québec since 1 year and a half. So why we would like to become an engineer? There are many benefits to the professional engineer's title. The first one is the recognition that comes with the professional title. Of course, engineers in our province are well recognized. Also, it gives you the right to practice engineering and, of course, to gain access to specific jobs. I hope that it will promote your professional career, and we see that very often. Most of the engineers at the very beginning begin with more technical jobs, and then they go further in their progression and they become, for example, project managers. So they, of course, have promotions, and it helps to have the engineering license. And it will give you the opportunity to have a greater mobility also across Canada, which I will explain it right away. Each province in Canada regulate the profession on their own territory. Once you have an engineer's license in one province, let's say that you have your engineer's permit here in the province of Quebec. If you want to apply to have an engineer's license in another province, let's say in Ontario, it's much more easier for you to do so because you will be going through the whole admission program with l'Ordre des Ingénieurs, and once you have your official license, then in another province, they will recognize this license. So it's much more easier, and it's the same thing for those coming from outside the province of Quebec. Once you have an engineer's permit from another province, then if you do your admission demand here in Quebec, it's much more easier for you to obtain your engineer's permit. So that's why we talk about a greater mobility across Canada for the engineers. Why we have a professional order here in the province? Well, first of all, professional orders are organizations that are designated by law. So it's the government who give the right to those organizations. It governs the access to a specific profession and the practice of this profession, and it ensures competent execution on risky activities. There are 46 professional orders in Quebec. Some of those professional orders are the ones with reserved title professions, and we can think about technologists, urban planners, psychologists, and some of them have the reserved title profession and the exclusive practice profession. We can think about doctors, architects, agronomists, and of course, engineers. So the primary function of a professional order is to ensure the protection of the public. At l'Ordre des Ingénieurs du Québec, our mission is to oversee the practice of engineering and to support the development of the profession to ensure the protection of the public. There are 5 control mechanisms to do so, to protect the public. So, and it's the same thing in all professional orders. So we have the access to the profession where I'm working. We have to monitor the members' practice. We have the disciplinary control. We have the competencies development, and we have to monitor the illegal practice. Briefly, the access to the profession, we are making sure that all of the demands are coming from the person that have all the requirements to practice the engineering profession. And of course, we control the identity of the persons. The members, to monitor the members' practice, we say that once we have a permit, an official engineer's permit, we could have a professional inspection. So we have inspectors who can do a professional inspection. So they are verifying how you keep all your professional documents and how you practice engineering. And they could do some recommendation to just better and improve your professional practice. The disciplinary control is the syndic, and it's to prevent the ethical misconduct of engineers. And they can do some investigation if we have some complaints about engineers. The competencies development is to maintain the skills through continuing training of our members. And finally, the monitoring of illegal practice is to ensure that only the members are using the reserved title and its abbreviation and perform the acts reserved to the profession. We do a lot of prevention when we monitor the illegal practice, just to make sure that, as I said, only members are practicing the profession. The Engineers Act it's the law. We can ask a question, is only the professional engineers are required to comply with the Engineers Act? In fact, the answer is false. Why? Because the Engineers Act, the law, defines the use of the professional title, defines all the acts reserved for engineers and the fields of practice. They defines also all the illegal practice offenses. They also define the authentication requirements for engineering documents, and it defines the engineering practice in society. So, of course, it's not only applying for all the members of the OIQ, but it is also applying for all those people in the province of Quebec that are not engineers, because it defines here the illegal practice offenses and the practice in society. I'm pleased to announce you that since September 24th, we have a new version of the Engineers Act. In fact, it has been modernized to just make sure that it better reflects the engineering profession, because our law was very old. It was since 1964, and by that time, the Engineers Act was more defined around civil engineering, chemical, mechanical, electrical engineering. But since 1964, a lot of new fields of practice, a lot of engineering disciplinary, a lot of engineering fields have been brand new. We can think about software engineering or for example, biotechnology, or a lot of practice around environment. So it was not really defined into the old version of our Engineers Act. But since the new version, every field of practice is included in the definitions. And here I have a link, probably, in fact, I will be able to send you this presentation, and you will have a link if you want to go see what it looks like, the new version of the Engineers Act. Unfortunately, it's only in French, but if you can read it, of course, it could be really interesting for you. Now, how we obtain an engineer permit to the OIQ. First of all, since April 2019, so since last year, we talk about candidates to engineering profession. So it's a new regulation to enter to the profession. You will be entered on a separated registry. And if someone is looking for your name onto the OIQ's official website, they will find your name if you are participating to the program, and they will see that you are participating to the professional admission program. You won't be registered as an official engineer on the OIQ's roll, because only engineers are officially registered. So once you will be admitted on the registry or to the admission program, you will be asked to use the CEP professional title. So on your signature, it could look like your first name, last name, and CEP, standing for Candidate to Engineering Profession. And for example, we do a difference between the professional title, which is engineer, and the function title, which could be project manager in, for example, mechanical engineering. So make sure that in your functional title, in your job, you won't use the word engineer anywhere, just to make sure that you are not caught into an illegal practice because you are using the word engineer somewhere in your signature. Sometimes we have a question, what about the bachelor degree? Because one abbreviation could be accepted as BENG dot, and just make sure that if you are using it, no one could pretend, or you cannot pretend that you are an engineer. If you want to use that kind of title, you better use the whole phrase bachelor in engineering. So it could be your first name, last name, and then bachelor in engineering, just during the time that you are entering to the official registry as a CEP. So it could be an acceptable term for you. Here is the whole admission program. There are three main steps. The first one is you are at admission, and then you are a CEP, and then finally you obtain your engineer's license. I want you to take a look of 2 points. After you are graduated, you have 5 years to present a demand to become a CEP. Why we do this? It's because after 5 years, you might have to answer to a technical exam, or it could be a written exam, or it could be as an interview, because 5 years after your graduation, we just want to make sure that you still have the skills and the competencies to practice engineering. And then you have another 5 years here to complete the whole program, the whole admission program, because we don't want to have a CEP that are retired in like 25 years from here with the CEP title. We don't want that. So we want to make sure that everyone that begin the admission program will finish it and will obtain their license. So there are 2 moments for those of you who are studying right now as in undergraduate studies. You can present a demand when you will be at half of your bachelor's studies, and then, or you can decide to wait and to obtain your engineering degree, and it will be totally fine. So as I said, if you already present a demand during your studies, you will have an access to the theoretical component of the admission program. And if you decide to wait, which is totally fine, you will have an access to all components of the admission program. Let's see what are the components. So first of all, the theoretical components is basically 30 hours of online training on the professional system, on l'Ordre des Ingénieurs du Québec, on the social and professional role of engineers in the society. We will talk about ethics, deontology, professionalism, and we will see all the applicable laws and regulation and all the standards of the professional practice. Everything is done online, and you will have access to a written document as a reference to well prepare to the professional examination. The professional examination is a 3 hours exam with multiple choices, and everything is based on the online training. The passing grade is 60%. The professional examination can be done everywhere in the province of Quebec. We have many exam sessions, and it can be written or in French or in English. It depends on what is your preference. So yeah, so this is the professional examination. So everything, as I said, is you can register to the professional examination once you have completed all of the 30 hours of online training. Then let's see what is the practical component. As a candidate to the engineering profession, you will have to be proficient in the 6 big competencies required to practice the profession. You will also have to complete 24 months of experience in engineering. Let's talk about the competencies. They are declined in sub-competencies. The first one is the technical competencies. Then you will have also to be you will also have to be proficient in communication, in project management, in teamwork, and everything about your professional life. So those competencies are very, very important because it defines all the engineering profession. Also, as I said, you will have to demonstrate that you have been working at least 24 months as a professional, but there are some particular points that I want to bring your attention at. If you did during your bachelor degree an internship, 1 or 2 internship of 4 months, for example, you will be able to obtain a credit of 8 months maximum. Unfortunately, because we think that you are during your studies, you cannot acquire those professional competencies. But as soon as you will begin to work after your studies, then you will be able to gain time and all the professional competencies. If you do some kind of training activities, and we can think about any health and safety training activities that are more than 35 hours of training, or we can think about any PMP, so project management training. You can acquire or demonstrate that you have acquired professional competencies. But no time will be allowed to those kind of training activities. If you are doing a master or a PhD, and by masters we are thinking about masters with research component, then you can have time and competencies. Masters can be recognized as up as 12 months of experience, and PhD up to 24 months of experience. So it's very interesting for a lot of persons. The whole professional experience have to be done under a supervisor's with a supervisor. The role of this supervisor is to contribute to your development as CEP. He will regularly assess your progression, and he will make sure that you are assuming increasing responsibilities in your professional work. Also, he will make sure that as a CEP, you perform under ICH, which stands for Immediate Control and Supervision, when you perform activities reserved for engineers. The conditions for being a supervisor, when you will ask someone to be your supervisor, it must be a licensed engineer. This person, it's a requirement, has practiced the profession, the engineering profession, for at least 3 of the last 5 years, and also have no practice limitation or disciplinary decision in the 5 last years. As soon as you will declare or you will begin a professional work experience, you will have your own portal, and you will declare the name of your supervisor. Then we will do some verification at the OIQ to make sure, just to make sure that your supervisor comply with all the conditions. Even if everything is right, or if your supervisor does not comply with the condition, in both cases, you will have an answer from us just to advise you that everything is fine or not. Finally, who can be your supervisor? Then it could be your direct manager. It could be a colleague, a client, a supplier, or an engineer outside the province of Quebec. This engineer outside of province of Quebec, of course, must be a licensed engineer also. And this engineer, it's very important that it complies with or have the knowledge of all the laws and regulations that applies here in our province or in Canada. In all cases, your supervisor must be personally familiar with your work. So we suppose that you are meeting on a frequently just to make sure that he will know what is your work, specifically if it's a colleague or a supplier or a client, just to make sure that he knows about your work and he can do your evaluation on your professional progression. In every cases, just make sure that as a CEP, if you do some reserve acts, you always work with a professional engineer that will take the professional responsibility of your work. It's very, very important. You cannot perform all by yourself as a CEP. So make sure that you have all the time an immediate control and supervision. It's very important. The last step in the professional admission program is the demonstration of the French language. Unfortunately, for those of you, you are in the province of Quebec and it's the law. The Office québécois de la langue française ask all the professional orders to comply with the French language. All the members have to comply with the French language. So you must fulfill one of the OQLF conditions. So if you did 3 years of secondary or post-secondary studies in French, it's fine. So we can think about cégep, collège, or every post-secondary studies in French, it's fine. Or if you did your secondary in Quebec in English, but you did in secondary 4 or 5 the French language, the French examination, then it's good also. And you have it on your diploma, high school diploma. Or if you cannot comply with one of those conditions, it's mandatory to pass the OQLF examination. Unfortunately, we cannot accept any kind of French recognition outside those one. If you did some French studies outside Quebec or Canada, it's fine. If you can have or give us any paper that confirms that, it will be good and we will accept this kind of demonstration. Now, for those of you who did bachelor degree in engineering outside Canada, you have a different admission program path to go through before becoming a CEP. And I will go as fast as I can. I still have 10 minutes, I guess, to explain this to you. So, basically, everything is done online. So you will go on our website. This is a print screen of the official OIQ's website. And you will go under obtaining a permit. When you click on this link, it will leads you to this kind of page. And you will be able to go to the engineer's diploma obtained in other countries without anything else. If you are undergraduate or you are doing your studies at Polytechnic, for example, bachelor degree, you will click here. I'm not sure that some people are here this afternoon and they obtained their engineer's diploma in France, but you have a specific path for you. So, and I won't cover it this afternoon because I will miss time, but if you have any question, I will be pleased to answer you in the question period after the presentation. So let's see what is happening for those of you who obtain an engineer's diploma from other countries. First of all, it means that you don't have any agreement for your diploma. Then you will have to first create your profile on the L'Ordre des Ingénieurs portal, and you will have to fill out the online permit application form. Then you will have to open an account with WES, which is the World Education Service, to receive a comparative analysis report of evaluation credits. We work only with the WIE reports. We are not working with any kind of any other comparative analysis reports, unfortunately, at l'Ordre des Ingénieurs. Then you will have to provide a description of your work experience, if you have one, and any additional education relevant to practice of engineering. And you, of course, you will have to pay the fees to open your account. The required documents that you will have to provide, as I said, the completed form, everything is done online. Then you will have, well, it's not you, but WES will send the evaluation report to the OIQ directly. You will have to provide the original act of birth issued by the civil registry of your country, and it's mandatory to transmit it electronically because during this pandemic, our office is kind of closed, so we don't receive any visitors at our office. So you can scan or photography the original document and it will be fine. You will have to provide also a photography of yourself. You will have to ask your university to send the final and official transcript. Again, it will have to be sent by your university directly. We cannot accept anything directly from you unless it is in a closed and sealed envelope. But if you don't have, but we really prefer to have the original transcript from the university. You will have to also provide the description of each courses taken or to earn each of your diploma. So it means that each courses that you did during your studies, you will have to provide a good description of it. It can be in French or in English translation, and it doesn't have to be official translation. You can do it by yourself, it's totally fine, but make sure that you have a good description of those courses because it will be really important for the evaluators to really understand what you did during during your bachelor engineering studies. You will have to complete a table corresponding between the course description and the transcript. So it will really help the evaluators. Also, you will have to provide your original diploma. Again, a scanned copy or a photography is fine. And if you have one, you can send us your resume detailing all your work experience because it could be used to evaluate your file. Finally, if you already have it, you can provide any documentation that proves your knowledge of the French language. The file analysis process rapidly is you have the admission, you have the file preparation by our agent. When we have all the documents, then it's transferred to our evaluators, and they will begin to look at your bachelor degree. It's the first step in the evaluation of your file. Then they will evaluate if you comply with all those credits that are required by the regulation. So during university, it must be at least 108 credits in engineering, including credits in mathematics, natural sciences, conception, engineering, design, and a lot of credits divided in all those following subjects. If you comply during your bachelor degree, if your diploma comply and everything is fine, then your file will be recommended to the admission committee, and then you will go through the CEP admission process. In fact, you will become CEP. But if those credits are not completed, then our evaluators will go a little bit further, and if they will evaluate if you have graduated studies. So they will evaluate master's and PhD, because it will help to complete the whole equivalence. If it's the case, then it's perfect. Your file will go through the process to CEP. But if you still have some credits that are missing, then they will take into account any work experience. That's why it's important. If you have your resume, they will ask it and they will take a look at it, because if you worked in your country, for example, a few years, or here in Quebec, if you worked in an engineering practice, then it can count as some kind of credits, and they can add it to your file just to make sure that you complete the grid of evaluation. If it's not the case, then it's not the end of the world. They will do some recommendation to have training activities, or maybe admission examination. You always have the choice between the training activities or the admission technical exam, if necessary. And once everything is done, then you will be admitted as a CEP. And all the process that I explained earlier will begin for you. So I went through the equivalence. I talked about WES. So basically, you open your file with them, and you will ask your university to send the transcript of all your diploma. So if bachelor degrees, if you have masters and PhDs done outside Canada, then you can ask your university to send it directly to WES to be evaluated. So they will do the equivalence of credits between the credits that you acquired in your country in comparison of the credits here in Canada. I talked about the admission committee, which is an important committee. Each file go to this committee, and it's them who evaluate the final application and admission internationally. They also determine and set all the examination and training requirement, if applicable, based on the recommendation done by our evaluators, and they make the final decision to admission as candidate to engineering profession. So if you, this is a summary of the pathway for engineering graduate from another country. Admission committee, training activities if required, and then admission as a CEP, and then you go through the CEP process, and then to obtain the engineer's license. So in conclusion, basically, an engineer's license allows you to perform acts reserved for engineers, to use the engineer's title and the abbreviation, and to enjoy the status of a professional, and to have greater mobility across Canada. Here are the contacts. So if you still, after our question period at the end, if you have any other question, please feel free to contact us at the customer service. Our agents will be happy to answer all of your questions. You can contact them by email, by phone, or you can go on our website. to have a lot of information. So thank you very much. And I think it's the turn to Sandra now. Thank you.
Yes. So do you prefer to pass the question first about the admission, or you want that I start my presentation? It's up to you.
Maybe I can ask the question to Saida. You are managing the afternoon.
Yeah, we received a bunch of questions, and I think that
we have 7 questions on the table right now, or clarification.
If we can quickly answer the questions and then move to the presentation of Sandra, okay, that would be great. So the first question I have is from Mr. Fadlo. The question is as follows. I have a PhD in electrical engineering from University of Quebec, ETS, and bachelor and master in electric engineering from University of Russia. Do I need to pass some exams to be member of OIQ?
In fact, the bachelor degree is from which country?
From University of Russia, La Russie.
Okay, I think that Russia, I'm not quite sure if they have an agreement. Are they with the Washington Agreement? I don't remember. What I will do when Sandra will do her presentation, I will check if Russia is under the Washington Agreement. I'm not so sure. If it's not the case, then you will have to go through the admission process, that the last part that I just explained. And after that, the master will be used to see if you have all the equivalents. And if it's some things are missing, then of course we will use your PhD here from Quebec. And probably that with your PhD, everything will be completed and you will go through the CEP process. And once you will be a CEP, you will be asked to provide all your professional experience coming from your PhD, and you will have to just explain all the tasks that you did during your PhD. And of course, and rely it to the professional competencies, and probably that you will stay as a CEP less than 24 months, of course, because it's already done. So you can go through the whole process probably easily. Yes.
Okay. Thank you. The second question is from Gurpreet Singh. I have bachelor in physical science, master in nanoscience and nanotechnology, and PhD in materials for engineering. Am I eligible for OIQ?
Okay, nothing is impossible. Of course, you will have to go through the process of the exact same process as I explained in the last part of my presentation. All your diplomas, all your studies will be taken into account, where you will probably have some problems. It will be in engineering design. So we will take into account your master's, and we will take into account your PhD, of course, and we will look the whole to the whole file. As I said, nothing is impossible. It might comply with the regulation, but I cannot tell, of course. Only my colleagues, the evaluators, will be able to give you an answer on that. But the first thing, will have to apply at the OIQ and have your whole file examined.
Okay, thank you. Another question, what is reserve titles? what should we understand from this classification?
Okay, the reserve title is engineer. So in the province of Quebec, even if you have an engineer's title in your country, for example, in France or in any other country in the world, you cannot use it right now in Quebec, unfortunately, because you have to have the right to practice. You have to be registered to the OIQ's role. So it means that even if you are an engineer in your province, you can, in your country, you can present yourself as with the complete description. For example, let's say that I have an engineer's diploma coming from France. I could say, hello, my name is Julie Blanchard, and I'm an engineer in France. I know that I'm not already a member of the OIQ, so I'm not already engineer here in Quebec, but I have my engineering diploma. So just make sure that the complete description is done around your title, but in fact, you should say that to prevent any misconduct, you should not say that you are an engineer in the province of Quebec unless you are a member of the role.
Okay, thank you. Another question from Sarah. Hello, I've got an engineer diploma from France and I also did a maîtrise professionnelle at Polytechnique Montreal. Do I need a permit for engineer's diploma from France?
Yes. Okay. I didn't really know if we had some people from France today. The path to become to present a demand is slightly different. I invite you to go to our website. When you click on obtain a permit, you will go through the link where we say that an engineer's diploma from France. Then you will have to check if your university and your program are on the list, the MRA list. It's the mutual arrangement with France. If your university and program are on the list, then it will be much more easier for you to obtain your engineer's license, because it will go very fast. In fact, you will receive the right to become a junior engineer. It's a special title for you, and you will have to demonstrate that you have 36 months of experience, and 36 months in total, but at least 12 months of experience here in Canada. And this work experience in Canada must be done under a direct ICS, so with a professional engineer here in Quebec or in Canada. If you already have all this, then we will be able to provide you your official engineer's license. Everything is in detail on our website.
Okay, thank you. Another question from Danielle Fernandez. For someone with a bachelor obtained outside of Canada, do we also have a limit of 5 years after graduating to start the CAP admission process?
No, well, yes and no. You will have to go through the admission process first, and then what we will do is we will, after your graduation, we will see what you did. If you already work in your country, for example, we can take into account this work experience for you, or if you don't have any kind of professional experience in your country, what we will take into account is the final date of your admission as a CEP. Then the 5 years will begin. So it's a slightly different, but yes, you won't lose any work experience, and the 5 years will begin as soon as you will be registered as a CEP.
Okay, thank you. From Sana, French language certificate should be provided before CEP admission?
No, you still have 5 years during the admission program to provide all the documents.
Okay. From Rania, is there a standard for how credit equivalency is calculated for candidates who obtain their degree outside of Canada, or is it done on a case-by-case basis?
It's all done on a case-by-case basis. So that's why we are requesting the WES document, the WES evaluation, because WES will give us the credits. For example, let's take Brazil as the reference country. And I say anything, okay? I don't know what I'm talking about Brazil, but for example, a math course in Brazil could count as 6 credits, okay? The same kind of course here in Quebec could represent 2 credits. So WES will do the comparison with the content of your course that you did in Brazil, and then do the equivalence with the same kind of course here in Quebec. That's why this report is so important. And with all the credits that WES will give us, then we will put it in the grid that I showed during my presentation, and that's the grid that will be taken into account with the WES report.
Okay. Another question. So maîtrise professionnelle does not count towards the practical components, only maîtrise recherche?
Okay, for those maîtrises professionnelles, you can use all the courses to demonstrate a lot of professional competencies, and know that during the maîtrise professionnelle you do a work term. So the work term, it could be 4, 6 months, 12 months, it depends of your personal path. Then this work term will be take into account as professional experience. So we split it into 2 parts. So you can have the competencies. So you declare some courses as the other kind of training, and then the work experience, because it's done after your bachelor degree, will be taken into account as professional experience.
Okay, thank you, Julie. So we continue to receive questions. I will just add this one, and then we will move to the presentation of Sandra.
Perfect.
So the question is, could you please advise for individuals who received a BSc bachelor degree in Quebec, example in physics, not bachelor in engineering, but continued on to a Quebec master engineering, PhD engineering program? Are such individuals eligible to apply for the CEP process?
Yes, as I said previously, nothing is impossible. So what you can do, you will go, remember when I showed obtain the permit, you click on this link, and then you have this small box, it's other kind of diploma, sciences, every kind of, that is not engineering degree. So you click onto this, and you will be asked to provide some documents, but the file evaluation is almost the same. It's the same process that I explained for those with engineering diploma outside Canada. We will begin to take a look of your bachelor degree first, and then because you did a master in engineering and a PhD, those diploma will be taken into account because we often see that PhD in engineering, we you touch and you have a lot of courses in engineering design. So we can transfer those courses into the grid, and then sometimes, yes, it could be okay to obtain the engineer license.
Okay.
Impossible.
So thank you so much, Julie, for answering those questions. Maybe we will return back to you in order to answer other questions. So now I leave the floor to Sandra for to share her presentation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Excellent. So good afternoon, everybody. Do you see my screen?
Yes.
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 Excellent. So I just want to maybe put as a full stuff. Okay, excellent. So hello, everybody. So I want to take a few minutes of your time to present myself. So we had a beautiful presentation from Julie about all the technical aspect to the PAT, to the member of OIQ. So now I want to present myself. It's good to see you, not see you all of you, but to have you in front of me, of my screen, since that we're working from the home since a lot of months now, so it's now used to. So who I am, my works experience, and my involvement of OIQ. I want to talk also to you, women in profession, and some question maybe you will have to raise after my presentation. So who I am, so now since 13 years. So first thing, I'm a graduate from Polytechnic in 1986. So since a while now, so I want to present my path. So I what's going on with my my path of engineering since I'm graduating. So now since 13 years, I'm a project manager as Airbus. Now Airbus, initially it was Bombardier, and since 5 years now I moved to Airbus, that it's own Airbus right now, the A220 aircraft. So you see me in back that I'm so proud of Air Canada, the first delivery of Air Canada airplane that we did last year actually. So it was a great accomplishment, I can say. So my work experience. So when I finished school, it was really difficult for the job at this time, and I tried to find a job, and it took a few months actually at this time. It's not like today you have plenty of choice, but now it's a little bit easier for everybody. And this time it was a little bit difficult. So I started in a small company. Actually, we were 4 people, and we create polyurethane stuff and rubber stuff, and I did actually everything. I did the training for new employee, I did the development, I did the product itself, but it's learned me a lot about the business, and a small business become bigger and bigger and bigger. And after I moved to another company, make more, we can say, design stuff. So I made heat exchanger, because I didn't forget to you that I'm chemical engineer actually. So some people can say, how you work right now to Airbus, Bombardier Airbus. This is my path. So you have to follow your path and follow your art as well. So when you will graduate, if it's not already, and if you didn't start working yet, you have to try some stuff, and you have to go with your feeling and what you really like, because you will see that maybe what you think you will do or you will practice can change, and will change again and again, because you will follow your art and follow what you like to do. I also part of Red Cross volunteer, because I think it's important to help each other if we can. So it's part of my we can say volunteer stuff, but I think it's really important that even here in Quebec, sometimes we have flooding or we have emergency. So I'm trained for be a part of volunteer to can help underground, we can say. So I want to say that even you work for yourself, for an employer, so be proud of your employer. take in account that it's your business, and act as you are owner of this business is the way to take it about, and to do a good job like is yours. So share the culture, take challenge. I think to be a good engineer and to continue to pursue an engineer with good success, you have to take challenge. If you want to keep this ongoing practice of engineers, you have to go more deep and deep to understand exactly what the goal is, to understand every aspect of the project, not only your part, but go more wide than that, and you will be really recognized for it, and you will see exactly what's happened with this project, and you will be a better engineer. So learn something new. Every time you're talking about something, you ask something because you are not sure, don't be shy to ask questions. At the end, you will be a better engineer. You will be a better person because you all each day learn something new. So take opportunity for advancements. I know that sometimes somebody are shy, not sure they are ready for another position, but never be shy. Have confidence on yourself. Have confidence of your competency, and you can progress for sure. But you have to take confidence about yourself. This is really important in your path. So since 2003, actually, and way forward that, I was volunteer in my original chapter of OIQ. I start involvement because first thing I want to discuss with other engineers, I more professional link and contact. And at the end, I just realized that I can do something different. I can help in the profession. So I started to did a lot of volunteer in the high school. I did a lot of conference because a lot of young people just didn't know what engineers do. So I tried to go in the school, go in a conference, in the career day, in CEGEP, and in high school, to try to explain to young people what exactly engineers do. And it's make a difference for some of them because, you know, at the end, many of young people do not have any engineers beside them. They don't have any parents or no people who do that. And it's not like they deal with it. Nobody really deal with engineers, like a doctor, like a teacher, like a lawyer. The engineers a little bit underground. So it's why it's important to explain to young people that it can be a career, but they have to understand exactly what career it is. So so this initiative since 20 years ago, it's important to try to reach the public, to reach people, to explain exactly what an engineer do. So it's what I try to do as a volunteer since 2003 and way before that. So I work a lot on board of engineers. I'm also part of Engineers Canada that I'm just finishing this May. I was there for almost 12 years. So I do a lot of stuff and I did a lot of accomplishment with this, we can say 12 years and more than that with OIQ. So I did work with the Engineers Act for a long while. I steer strategic decision. Also, I work with the guide public affairs, and I also part of awards and scholarships for a while, and also a lot involvement of Women in Engineering committee. So women in professions. So I just want to show you that we are well represented and more each year in the engineering facts. So for an example, in biological and biomedical engineering specialty, we have now 53% of membership are women, and food engineering now we can count 49% is women. And between 2000 and 2008, all of specialty except two increased in the women of number of women in these specialties. Also, in the profession at university for master's degree in doctoral program, we show that in agriculture and rural engineering now 50% are women in master program, 38% in doctoral program. Same for biological and biomedical engineering. Now we can count 45% of women in master program and 41% in doctoral program. So it's really significant, and it's continued to grow each year. And in mechanical engineering, now 30% are women. In aeronautic and aerospace, like me, but I'm not part of this finishing student, but engineering is now 22%, and in electrical engineering, 22%. So I think it's really good to see the progression and the goal to have more and more women in engineering. So in terms of participation, I can just remove that. Okay. So in terms of participation, women have the remarkable progress in 30 years. So we said that we start in the reference, it's 1989, that we have only 4% of engineering that are women, that now grow in 15% in 2019. And the number of women engineers grow significantly from 4,000 to almost 10,000 in 2019. So now today we can count of membership 15% and continue to grow, because 16.5% of the new member in 2019, and now we are progressing to 21% of students in undergraduate engineering program. So women who choosing engineering make the right choice. Yes, I can say that. So according to a recent survey in 2018, more than 8 of 10 members of profession would recommend engineering to their daughter. And also 77% of women engineering and 82 of men engineers feel that engineering is a promising profession for women. So this is statistic. So now I was part of, since 2 years now, part of the initiative 30 by 30 initiative launched by Ingénieurs Canada. Last year I was the champion of 30 by 30 across the Canada, because this initiative is to have 30% of women in 2030. This is an initiative reach and spread all over the Canada right now. In Quebec, we really reach, and it's different aspect of the 30 by 30, not only to go in the school, in the high school and younger than that, to try to reach the student, but it's really more than that. We are talking about membership to help like you, one woman, to bring in the profession and to have tools to bring them at the right level. So I think it's really important. For now, the OIQ action regarding this 30 by 30 initiative is to bring out the woman ambassador example in the profession in the secondary school. So we have a tool. We have also almost 300 ambassador right now, engineer ambassador, that go throughout the province in the high school to reach the profession. We also raise the lunchtime engineering meeting at CEGEP, and we bring out the membership program in the university. And we will continue in next years to deploy all the aspect of this initiative to be sure that we will obtain the goal of 30% of women engineering in 2030. So the program of Montreal for étudiants engineering. So what is it? So this mentoring for women engineering students that we call MWES, it's really good to learn about the professional reality of women engineering. And you, if you are involved in that, you will receive personal advice, develop your professional network. This is really important, the professional network, and you should work on it. The objective of MWES is to have productive conversations, self-confidence, professional transition, and network of contacts that need help when you start your practicing in the ground. So I think this is it for my presentation. So don't be shy if you want to ask me more questions about me, about my job, how I'm become a project manager actually at Airbus Canada. But like I mentioned, when I follow my path, I just realized that design is not for me. So I changed my mind, I changed my skill, I work on my skill management, and now I'm so happy to be a project manager because I feel that I can make a difference. When I go in a team and I have to resolve a problem, I have to put all the team together and bring out to resolve and find an issue and find an action plan and go for it. So this is my job right now and I really like it. So if you have any question, don't be shy, and this is it.
Okay, thank you so much, Sandra, for your inspiring presentation. You're welcome. So now let's move to the questions. So a question from Carolina Solorzano. Hello, I have a question. I have a bachelor in engineering from another country. I might have some courses missing, such as santé, sécurité, ethics of engineers, etc. I'm currently studying MSCA at Polytechnique. Is it possible to accredit those courses at Polytechnique right now, since I am still a student, or should I wait for WES to tell me what credits are missing?
Thank you for your question. In fact, you have two choices. You could decide to go right away and take those classes in health and safety and, for example, in ethics, if you don't really have it. Or you can also decide to wait until the end of your file evaluation, and then you will have the training recommendation by our evaluators and the admission committee. So it depends of what you want to do. Of course, if you are doing it right now and then you decide to apply for your engineer's permit, you can transfer, for example, the proof of inscription to those courses, and the evaluator will take into account that you are doing it right now, and when you will have the proof that you've been successful in those training or courses, then it will be taken finally into account in your file evaluation. So it's up to you. It depends on what you want to do.
Okay, thank you. Another question, it's from Fadlo. He already asked his question. It was the first one. He said, do I need to pass some exams to be a member of OIQ, and how many time is taken?
Okay. There is one mandatory exam which for everybody, students coming from Quebec or outside Canada, it's the same exam. It's the professional examination. For the technical part, it depends on your file evaluation. So as I said, we will evaluate your file, your studies, what you did, and at the final, if you still have some lack, then of course we prefer now to have training recommendation. We prefer that people are going back to school into a class, taking a training, but it's up to you. You always have the choice to do a technical exam. For example, if you say that I'm not so sure that I want to go do this training, I prefer to take my chance and to do the technical exam in a specific field of practice, then that will be recommended for you. You can decide to take the technical exam. For how long the process takes, I have as many answers as you are today. For some people, the process can take only a few months or a few weeks, from the beginning to the end. And for some other people, the process can take many months. It depends on what are the recommendations from the admission committee in training technical exam, and it also depends of yourself, how quick you answer to the evaluators, if this person has some questions for you, and how long you take to decide, because when your file is recommended for as a CEP, some people decide to just take their time, and they are waiting like 1-2 years before becoming a CEP. So I cannot have a real answer for you. It really depends on your own path. I just have one specification about the Russia diploma during the time that Sandra was speaking, doing her presentation. I went onto our website, and I confirmed that Russia are on the Washington Agreement, accord, les accords de Washington. So it means that you won't have to go through the process with WES and all the equivalents. It means that if you go onto our website, click onto obtaining a permit under the Washington Agreement, and you will have all the small documents. You will have all the documents that you have to provide, and because it's the studies are already recognized, the evaluation have already been done, it means that you will be admitted as a CEP right away. So so that's the advantage to coming from those countries with the Washington Accord or Agreement.
Okay. Thank you, Julie. Another question, is the Washington Agreement the same as Washington Accord? I think yes.
Yes.
Okay. Another question from Bahare Jahangiri. Are the courses from pre-university degree counted for credits, like that 12 credits in math from outside of Canada?
Usually pre-university doesn't count. You can submit it because in some files we will evaluate it. So just submit the document and we will take a look at it, of course, because in some countries some kind of courses, pre-university courses are taken into account, but sometimes no. So I cannot give you a good answer, but submit the document and we will look at it for sure.
Okay, thank you. Another question from Leonardo. Hello, so what happens if you complete a PhD in Quebec, but the previous studies, MSc and BSc, are from a country outside the agreement?
We all the time begin by looking about the bachelor degree, the bachelor diploma. It's the first degree that we are taking into account. So that's why I presented every explanation about diploma coming outside Canada or in Canada. So it's the very first thing that we take into account. Then all the other diploma will be taken into account if we consider that you have lack of credits into those into the grid that I presented. So for everybody, it's the same process. We begin by the bachelor engineering degree.
Okay, thank you. Another question from Ramya. Can I transfer your OIQ certification to other provinces in Canada in the event that I move to a different province?
Okay, as I explained about the mobility, so if you obtain your engineer's license here in Quebec, of course, when you will present a demand to become a professional engineer, let's say in British Columbia, then they will take into account that you have passed through or process or admission process. So it means that you have all the equivalents, you are able to practice the engineer's profession here in Quebec, and what they will they will look for, of course, they will verify your identity. They will make sure that, of course, you are an official member of the role, and I think that they do a criminal investigation, which is the case for every professional in Canada. And if everything is fine, then it should be fine to have your engineer's permit in British Columbia. If you didn't complete the whole process to become an engineer in Quebec, unfortunately, the process cannot be transferred into another province. You will have to go through their own path to become an engineer, and each provinces have their own admission program. So they are called EIT for engineers in training, and they have their own specification. And for example, for the work experience, most of the other provinces, you will have to demonstrate that you have 48 months of experience before becoming an engineer, a professional engineer. So our processes are quite different. Just make sure that you have all the information to present your demand in another province.
Thank you. A question from Nawal. Hi, I'm professor at university since 2009, and now I would like to apply to OIQ. Does my experience as professor will be taken into account? Do you have permit reserved to professors, as it seems to be the case of other associations of professional engineers?
Okay, I will answer the second question first. We don't have any kind of permit only for professors, unfortunately. We have engineers permit. So, independently what kind of work you've been doing. As a professor, your work experience can be taken into account, of course. The task of teaching cannot be into account for some months of experience. We will have to cut the portion of the teaching task. But if you were a professor at master or PhD degrees, of course you will have to prepare some research or document or exercises for the students. Then those more technical part of your job could be taken into account for technical work experience in engineering. So it really depends of what you've been doing, but as I said, for the task of teaching, maybe it won't be taken into account as a number of months of experience, but of course as soft skills like communication or teamwork or those kind of professional competencies, then it could be taken into account.
Okay, so I just want to complete her question. What about research? Like if she's supervising students and doing research, publishing articles, etc., does it count in the process?
Yes, it could count. Of course, I don't have the whole work description in front of me, of course, and it will depend of what kind of description you will be giving, and the evaluators will, of course, take into account everything that you will provide as work experience.
Okay, thank you. Another question from Dayala Nabulsi. I happen to be a university professor at ETS in Montreal who studied outside of Canada. I'm currently completing the admission process for OIQ. I got the WES evaluation results, and being familiar with the Canadian system now, I find the results inaccurate. In fact, the WES evaluation process lacks a lot of transparency, and WES does not accept to provide a clear description and explanation of how credits are calculated. As you know, the WES evaluation is a very important step to join the OIQ. So I wonder how the OIQ accepts this non-transparency, knowing its significant impact on the future of engineers.
Unfortunately, I don't really know what to answer to you because right now it's our process. All the other professional order in Quebec also use the WES the WES reports to transfer the credits. It's the same thing for other profession. So unfortunately, I cannot really answer to you. It's what is requested, and maybe that you can go to the Office des professions du Québec to make a complaint. L'Office des professions du Québec is over all the professional orders in the province of Quebec. Maybe that they can help you and treat your request.
Okay, thank you. Another question from Mariam Dishari. Should we have permanent resident to apply for OIQ?
No, it's not mandatory. You can, of course, present your demand at the OIQ. But I had another presentation with an organism in Quebec City earlier this week. The only thing that that woman told me is just to make sure that if you have some training recommendation, if you have to go back to school, depending of the type of document that you have here in Quebec, if you are registered as a student, everything will be fine for the training part. If you have only a permit to work in Quebec, and we recommend you to do some training, so go back to university and have some training, then it might be a problem. So just make sure that you have the right permit to that allows you to work or to study in Quebec, but at the very basis, it's not mandatory to have the permanent residency to apply to OIQ.
Okay, thank you. Danielle Fernandez is asking a question. I finished my bachelor degree in Spain 8 years ago. Am I still eligible to become a CAP?
Yes, of course. Yes, of course. So you can present your demand, and you've been working because we have some exception for those persons coming from outside Canada about the 5 years thing. So yes, you can present your demand, of course.
Okay, thank you. And this question is for Sandra. Do you have any tips for finding a first internship during my bachelor? You are muted, Sandra.
Okay, you mean at Airbus Bombardier or in general? Just clarify the question.
Yeah, WIE Mainville. Could you please clarify your question? In general, he says in general.
Okay, because for us, example, in Bombardier and Airbus, we employ a lot. We still employ a lot of intern. So we have to pass through the website, and we have a lot in our team each session. So it's really the way to go in application in the website to find an internship. So I'm not sure if it's answered to the question.
Okay. Okay, so does this answer your question, WebKey Mainville? You can leave your comments below. So Okay. There is other questions. Another question from Mariam Lishari. Do you take into account experience outside Canada, especially in telecommunication field?
Yes, every professional experience outside Canada will be taken into account because telecommunication could be as an engineer. So of course we will take it into account. Yes.
Okay, thank you. Sarah is asking, if my educational institution is sending a document to the OIQ, should they need to add other information with this document?
Could you just repeat the question, please?
If my educational institution is sending a document to the OIQ, should they need to add other information with this document?
No, only the official transcript will be fine. Yes.
Okay. A question from Professor Amadou. He's co-organizing this event with the IEEE Women in Engineering and the OIQ invitation. Sandra's presentation is inspiring. As the Montreal IEEE Education Society chapter, Sandra and all those in this meeting who share our willing to let students know better how to be engineers are invited to join our activities.
Thank you.
You're welcome. The last question is from Ali Uni. I applied to OIQ before 31st May 2018 and just finished all required admission exams as a long process. Should I continue with the initial process for Ingénieurs Junior or move to the new process CEP? The process is confusing to me.
Yes, I know. Okay. Well, congratulations for that long process. It was another regulation, which was more difficult than the new regulation for the admission that I explained today. You probably saw all the differences between those two admission regulation. What I would suggest to you right now, I think for you, it could be better to apply to the CEP admission program. Why? Because the program for junior engineers will end in less than 18 months. So by the end of March 31st, 2022, it will be the end of the junior engineers program. So I think that you might not have the time to complete the whole program. So as a CEP, as I said, you will have plenty time to complete the program. So please submit all the relevant document, work experience, and I think, yes, it could be the best program for you. And if you still have questions, please don't hesitate to call us or to ask for help. We will be more than pleased to answer your questions.
Okay, thank you so much, Julie and Sandra, for these beautiful and inspiring presentations and fruitful virtual discussion that we had today. Maybe depending, like I see that the subject is very interesting, and maybe we can plan another session to explain more about the OIQ, how to join and study specific cases. If you both agree and if it will be like convenient for your schedules, etc., I would like to know if it's possible to share your presentations with us. If you accept to post them on our IEEE Montreal section website.
For my presentation, there is no problem. I will send you the PDF version But what I would prefer is to send it to those people who were registered to the presentation today. Why? Just to make sure, because I know that some of people that were present today, it will be a refresher and they will have all the information. And just to avoid the misunderstanding from all those other people that have not been with us today, I prefer to do again another presentation with you. I will be available if you do so, maybe during winter time, as the end of this year is coming very fast. Yes, I will be available. Don't hesitate, and I will send you the PDF version of my presentation later this afternoon.
Okay, thank you so much, Julie. Thank you so much for your generosity. And what about you, Sandra?
Yes, I don't think any problem for me. We will check to be sure that it's okay. We will share with the attendees. Yes.
Okay, that's great. I don't know if Professor Amadou wants to say. You can unmute your.
Yes, thank you very much. We are very, we are appreciating your presentations. Very inspiring, and not only for women's, but for everybody. And also, I think in Women in Engineering, IEEE men also can be part of it. And with you, Saida, we are together for many years. And one thing that we were doing also with IEEE Education Activity Board is we are working on a program called Teachers in Service. And we would like to get Sandra on the board, because very good if we can join our effort. Both Geoffrey Alain, who is in this room, and myself, we were also in this program where we used to go to talk to educators and help them and let them know also that we at IEEE Montreal, we can support a teacher who would like to implement some scientific activities in the classrooms for young students and in secondary too. So I think this is really a great meeting for us to know each other. So there is a site called tryengineering.org that help us also to make this program very alive. So it's like a revitalization for us to get you on board OIQ and your experiments. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. Is there any other comment or question that you would like, that the audience would like to ask to our speakers, Julie or Sandra? Please drop your questions in the Q&A chat window, or you can also. Okay, there is a message from Rania. She says, thank you for these wonderful presentations. Another message from Mohammed Masade. Thank you for the nice presentations. We appreciate if you can share even the video plus the slides. Yes, we will be sharing as Mrs. Julie and Sandra agreed to share, and we will post them on the section's website, both the recording and the slides. Another message from Maria Paula. This meeting was great and very clarifying. Thank you very much. Another message from Fadlo. Can you send the link which Prof talking about? the link of sites and TISP. And it's already on the section website. It's IEEE TISP and IEEE site. I don't know if Professor Amadou, you can send the links on the chat window. Or Fadlo, I invite you to communicate directly with Professor Amadou Salia Hassan. He's a professor at Telic University and the chair of the IEEE Education Society chapter here in Montreal Section.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, another message from Wade Eileen. Thanks very much. Apologies for being late. Okay, never mind. Another remark from Leonardo. Thank you very much. Another message from, okay, it's from Julie. Thank you to everyone to attend this presentation. And another message from Book Green. Thank you very much for this wonderful presentation. So thank you all for attending this event and for being such interactive. It made the event it was a very successful event thanks to your remarks and suggestions, and we are looking forward to having you in our future and virtual networking opportunities. Thank you. We'll be sharing the slides and the recording on the section's website, and we will be happy to receive Mrs. Julie Blanchard and Sandra in another session in the winter 2021. Thank you all, and have a good afternoon. Yes.
We don't forget also to thank Sadia. So
Saida.
Yes.
Don't forget to thank you.
You're welcome.
And Julie, it's a great presentation. So me, I learned a lot of things. So
thank you very much.
To be a member of OIQ engineer. So we hope we can help something, and also to bring this information to students and to our colleagues. So to be member of OIQ, because there are more opportunities for them to be a professional here and also in other provinces.
Yeah, sure. So Fadlo, Professor Amadou sent to you his email address for TISP and tryengineering.org. In the chat window, you can copy it and start and contact him for further information if you want.
Thank you, Professor Amadou. So I will send you a message.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Have a good end of the week, and see you in another session. Thank you.
Yeah.
Perfect. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye-bye.